This is the show where Ohio is on fire, by the way. I am your host, Daniel R. Hood. We're live once again on this Monday night. Of course, I got to remind you, this is the Halloween edition of Ohio's on Fire. So if you have your pet ghost at home, bring that ghost out because we're going to howl to the moon. Ow! It's going to be a crazy night. I got some crazy ghost stories. Got some news that'll make you think twice. You got OMVP. It's a Halloween edition. This, of course, is my last show for the month of October, so that's how we got to do it here. It is now time to say hello to the state of Ohio. I have no music for that. I realize I got theme music for a lot of my segments, but not for that anyway. Maybe I'll think of some eventually, but the first thing I want to talk about, I'll have another animal alert in the state of Ohio. Squirrel, it stopped school today, or it stopped school sometime last week, I believe. I'll read this article. Police said a lockdown at the Ohio high school resulted from an errant squirrel. This actually happened. Brookhaven High School in Columbus went on alert shortly after 8 a.m. Monday, after a half hour into the school day, because of reports that shots had been fired in the area. And apparently it was these big squirrels. They got into the pipes and started banging on things. Man, that'd been something if I went to school, or even now going to college, if school was canceled because squirrels got caught in the, I believe it was electronic transformer malfunctioning after a squirrel got inside. That'd be wild. I wish I could see it on Channel 7 right now. 2-hour school delay for Huber Heights High School because squirrel got into the venting pipe. So, anyway, so that actually happened. At least it's a happy animal news. I usually have something terrible like a cow getting beat to death, but at least I have a squirrel. A squirrel just stopped school. I wish that could happen. I'm sure most students wish to get out of school for that. Anyway, another news report I want to talk about. I talked about a situation last week where health experts, they were complaining about a haunted attraction over at Kings Island being a mess. They didn't like what was going on. Anyway, I want to follow up on that. I found a news article recently. I guess the Ohio's mental health system is about to collapse, if you will. And it's bad enough that people are getting kicked out of hospitals. People that really need help, they're not getting it because of these hospitals going out of business. It could get even worse. Like I mentioned at one hospital. But I guess Ohio's mental health system, they are on the verge of collapsing. The state has cut treatment for thousands in an effort to trim cost. Ohio's system was once a national model. Now hundreds of small group homes for the mentally ill have closed, and some people have to wait months to go see a psychiatrist, or maybe not even at all. And the estimate number right now, 418,000 Ohioans are suffering from a serious mental illness, such as depression, schizophrenia, and such as. And the Columbus Dispatch reports that the plight of mentally ill Ohioans will get worse. And even back in 1988, there was 3,823 patients. It's now down. It got downsized to 1,000 as of today. So this could be bad news. There's people that are really sick. They have mental illnesses, but because we've gotten so cheap, the economy's gotten so bad, almost every single hospital might be closed down. That's related to mental illnesses, not all hospitals. And could you imagine over 400,000 psychopath people run the streets in your neighborhood, and they could have gotten help? Like, I can just imagine going out my front door and some psycho will be like, hey Daniel, where's my pills? I don't have your pills, buddy. The doctors had your pills, but they kicked you out of the hospital because they're greedy. I could imagine the heart of some doctor going into a mental room. Like the day they decide to cut these hospitals, they kick out these patients because that's what they have to do for people that are really sick. They got to kick them out. They got to tell them to move. And some of these people don't even have families. I can just imagine just going in there telling them, hey sicko, get out of here. The state doesn't want you in here anymore. I'm a rich doctor. I don't want you anymore. If you're not well by now, then you're not going to get well. Go on the streets. And bother Daniel, by the way. Or come to WWSU and start a fire. Burn the whole station down. So, that's what might happen. I don't know. I don't know how this problem can be solved. I thought I would play on to that because it's real. It's a real issue in Ohio. The psychopaths, they don't have a home to get help. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2-4. I can't believe it. My favorite team are not doing too good this year. They lost to Atlanta 39-32 this past Sunday. And their playoff hopes, I was hoping to go to the Super Bowl. I was really excited, like the rest of my fans. The Terrell Owens was coming. Chad Ochocinco. Carson Palmer was going to be healthy. And the best defense of football in 2009. Well, number 4, I guess. They were all coming back. And they have done nothing right, it seems like. They get penalties. They get 13 men on the field several times. Carson Palmer's thrown 9 interceptions, which I think is tied for league high. That's way too much. So I hope they... Huh?
The Cincinnati bloopers.
Cincinnati bloopers. There you go. So in their next game, they are back in Cincinnati this Sunday. They're taking on the Miami Dolphins. If they lose this ball game, I say everyone that's on the team now, I think they'll start a rebuilding process next year if they go 2-5. There's highly doubt that they would make the playoffs at 2-5. Chad Ochocinco will want to leave. Terrell Owens will probably retire. They might get rid of everybody because there's Mike Brown. He's known for rebuilding. So anyway, I hope now something go to the Super Bowl. That's a shame. They're 2-4. They can't do anything right this year. They even lost to Cleveland Browns. I mean, come on. They could have beaten them at least. They'd be 3-3. And Tampa Bay, I guess they lost to Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. I guess they're a lot better than I thought they were. I think they're like 4-2. They've improved a lot since last year. So they got good things going for them. So, but other than that, cross your fingers for the Bengals if you're a fan of theirs.
Nope.
No, well, some people say no. So, anyway, Alright, that's enough of that. Anyways, now time for this week's OMVP. Of course, with OMVP, we give to someone that did something very interesting, something outrageous in a positive way. And because this is a haunted edition, I thought this would be an interesting choice to give it to for this week. But then you read this article. A teacher drops lawsuit in Burning Cross case. Now, before you freak out at home, let me read this article. This took place over Mount Vernon, Ohio. An Ohio public school teacher accused of burning the mark of a cross on students' arms said Friday he dropped a lawsuit over his firing because it would have interfered with a public airing of his complaint in a different venue. John Freshwater said in a statement to Associated Press that he had been offered financial settlements in this lawsuit against current and former Mount Vernon school board members. An attorney for the school board, however, said her clients never made a settlement offer and no money was on the table. We're dumbfounded, said Cleveland attorney Sarah Moore. We can't even begin to speculate as to what he's trying to do to begin with. Freshwater, who had worked for the district since 1987, had been suspended without pay since 2008. The school board voted unanimously to fire him after an internal investigation concluded that he had preached Christian beliefs in his class, and he also was accused of using a scientific device to mark several students' arms with a cross and keeping the Bible on his desk. And this device that Freshwater used, it left a temporary burn mark, I guess. So that's wild. I'd never heard of such a thing. But anyway, back to this article real quick. Fired Ohio teachers can appeal to the outside referee, which Freshwater did. We have already spent our life savings and have pledged our farm to get to the truth, Freshwater said. It is better to leave the money on the table than to take the Bible off of my desk. A message left with Freshwater's attorney wasn't immediately returned. In June, a court document indicated that Freshwater was in settlement talks with the district, and at the time, Freshwater and the school board both asked a federal judge for a gag order ahead of confidential notifications. No details of these notifications were released. So anywho, if you caught the gist of that story, okay, his name is John Freshwater. So, I guess he's claiming he didn't do it. But there's evidence that he did, and actually I have this picture. You can't see it at home. You can see it. It's this is allegedly a student's arm after this guy. He used a scientific weapon. Now, where do you get these from? Can we use this on the war on terror? Like, can the people in Iraq, can we buy this at Radio Shack or something? Or did he create this machine on his own? I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. You can use a scientific device that can cause burn marks on an arm. Maybe someone can call me in, throw me in on that. I need to. That's just I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like. But he was accused of doing this to several of his students, also while preaching his beliefs in I guess what you call a Baptist preacher way. I guess there's certain ways you can preach religion, and he did it in the old school Baptist way. I guess I'm assuming. I'm just going to assume that. But anyway, but I guess he was going to get some money out of this, but he turned it down ultimately, and he's no longer works for the school. He's done with them, and him and his wife Nancy, they're going to go on to live happy lives, and they can burn the arm marks of all the strangers on the street as long as they want to. I'm just kidding about the last part. But does it hurt though? I'm just curious about this. This teacher, this device, would it hurt my arm? Like if someone did it to me, would it hurt me? I don't know. I for some reason want to find out, because apparently it doesn't kill you. These students are still alive, whom it happened to. So, but other than that, because this is the Halloween edition, this was a rather strange story. Mr. John Freshwater, former teacher over Mount Vernon, Ohio, fired for burning students with the Christian cross with a scientific device no one's ever heard of, that I've never seen, that might be kind of cool. Mr. John Freshwater, here's to having a better life, because I'm giving you a little gift. On this Halloween edition of Ohio's on Fire, you, my friend, are OMVP, Ohio's most valuable pedestrian. Round of applause. Yay! The crowd is cheering, and he wins the gold medal. Here's Olympic music once again. Da do 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 do. Wait a minute. Alright, that didn't work. Oh well. You already heard it. So, anyway, so John Freshwater, he's the MVP for this week. And I'm going to go to another break. And before we go to break, when we come back from break, is my interview with i70 Paintball. He is here in the studio. We are back with Ohio's on Fire, and I'm with my tonight's guest. He's here in studio. He is Tim Hart, the owner of i70 Paintball. But say hello to everyone at home.
Hey, what up, Wright State in the Dayton area?
Yes. Okay. Now, anyway, but he is here, and we're going to talk about some paintball and some Halloween, as they do have a haunted attraction at their i70 Paintball facility. But the thing is, there's a lot of people, they don't know what paintball is even. Paintball is kind of a silent following, if you will. But for the people that are not familiar with paintball, tell them what i70 Paintball is all about.
All right, basically you can show up with no gear, just dress like you're going hiking, and come on out, and we'll get you the rental gun, the rental mask, an ammo belt, and paintballs, and everything you're going to need to have a good 2 to 3 hour time. You can stay as long as you want. You may need a few more paintballs. We've got a 10-acre woods ball field with a bunch of bunkers that are specially designed to be a combat-oriented field, spaced apart. We have a 2-story fort, and it's just a good, exciting time. We get a lot of birthday parties, corporate outings, bachelor parties. We even get church groups and team building exercises. It doesn't hurt that bad. It feels like you're getting flipped with a big rubber band, but we tell people to dress with a couple extra layers, and you probably a pair of gloves maybe it'd be the only thing you might need to bring. But I mean, if we're getting church groups out there, it can't be too bad.
Okay.
And it's pretty affordable. It's good exercise, and it's about the only sport you can do out there competitively with like a 40-year-old or a 45-year-old and a 10-year-old. They're competitive on the same field, and there's a lot of sports where that wouldn't really really happen.
Yeah, that's true. I can see how that could be true. When did you guys open? When did it open for business?
I started right around 2000. I went and played at a bachelor party and had a great time, and that I got hooked ever since, and have turned it into my hobby / business. I'm not getting rich, but I'm feeding my family, so I can't really complain, especially in these times. It's just it's probably the best job out there right now because
Okay.
you can shoot the customers. I can't think of any better job than that.
Wow, there's nothing more fun than be able to shoot somebody at your own job. I agree to that. Well, now I understand that paintball, it is a pro sport. There are pro leagues. Do you know of any pro players that came from Dayton, Ohio, or that have came to your venue?
Yeah, there's been a few that what it is. The pro players also are reps for the larger corporations that sponsor the paintball and have the either sell the guns and or the gear, mask, etc. But yeah, we've had a few in our shop throughout the years, and they're just plain old nice guys. Just love the sport. You got to really be willing to invest a lot to play in that type of sport, because to get to the pro level would take a ton of dedication and a ton of skill.
Okay.
There's collegiate level, and there's teams forming in high school, and I expect the sport to kind of grow in the near future.
Wait, you said teams form in high school. Now, are they is it an official sport in the high school, or is it unofficial?
In some states, it is actually, they have paintball clubs that have already formed, and they are starting to do leagues similar to like a volleyball and a golf.
Okay, awesome. Now, now I know you can do a lot of things at the i70 paintball place. Of course, playing paintball and all that good stuff. Of course, the haunted attraction, which we'll get to in a little bit. If let's say if a guy and a girl really loved each other and they met there, well, they want to get married at i70 paintball. Is that possible right now? And if not, will it be possible?
Yeah, it would have to probably only be listeners from this show wanting to do that. But yeah,
exclusive.
We could. They would have to mention your name, and we could get them in there.
Absolutely. All right. If you want to get married at i70 paintball, just call one of our shows, and he'll hook you up, Tim Hart. So that's a cool deal right there. If you want to get married,
bring your own.
Bring your
own rings.
All right. Do that absolutely. Now, and bring your own reverend too, because they don't supply those at i70 paintball.
No, although I might want to turn into a church one of these days.
Oh.
Because paintball should be it's a religion to some of these people.
Wow. Okay. Anywho, now you do have a haunted house and haunted trail, which is a cool attraction. Do you know who architected the house? Like who created it?
It's a haunted trail, and me and my some other paintball players just decided to go ahead and go for it and give the kids in the Dayton area something fun and safe to do during Halloween season.
Yep.
Basically was why we did it. We also are donating part of the proceeds to the Masonic Lodge in Huber Heights, number 777, and they do a lot of good work for the different charities with the Shrine Hospitals and Burn Centers. So we just want them to continue that, and we need people to swing on out to I-70 this Friday and Saturday, and between 8 and midnight, and check out the haunted trail. It's a good time, full of frights and lights. It's over a half-mile long.
Wow.
And you should enjoy it. We also do airsoft, which is something kind of new at our field. We just added this year. It's a 6mm biodegradable plastic BB, and the guns are a little more military looking like, and it allows for a little more realism. We do a lot of Wright Pat customers from the Air Force Base, and we've done some special projects. Made a remote control paintball gun for a helicopter for the Advanced Research Laboratory at Wright Pat a couple years ago, and
wow, how much money did that cost to make?
we made them. The helicopter that they used it for was pretty advanced. What it did, it would track people like the Apaches would track tanks, and they wanted to prove that the helicopter could fly around and actually shoot people. So they used a paintball gun on it to prove that it could do its mission. And from what I hear, it was a success. They bought 2 of them. So hopefully that's a prototype for something in the future, because anytime you can send a robot out there to do keep a person out of harm's way, that's got to be good.
Okay, well that sounds neat. Now, Tim Hart? What is your favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movie would probably probably have to be The Omen.
The Omen. Okay, I haven't seen that one. I don't think, but I assume it's scary.
It's pretty scary.
All right. Wait, who stars in it?
I don't know. I'm not good with movie
Oh,
stars.
oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
It's an old one. You're gonna have to Google it.
Now with paintball battles, I do know that there's usually teams. There's like maybe like a red team or blue team or whatnot, and they compete to eliminate each other. And it even works one on one, like it'd be one person taking on another just for fun. Now, if you could think of like a dream paintball battle, like one person took on another person, maybe a celebrity, maybe it's someone you know personally, anyone that's in a public guy, who'd you like to see go one on one in a paintball battle, shooting each other?
That's kind of a unique question. Let me think for a second here. One-on-one paintball battle. Probably Leno and Conan O'Brien.
Yes.
That's the way I think, anyway. Something like that. Maybe
That's how they
make
should have
it
settled it.
Let's make it a three-way battle and throw Dave in there too.
Dave Letterman?
Yep.
Wow, that's how they should have really settled it. That sounds fun.
Mano.
Jay Leno and Conan. There you go. Now you host tournaments and special events at i70 Paintball. What would you say is your like Super Bowl tournament of i70 Paintball throughout the year?
We hold tournaments every month, and the Super Bowl is basically that's down in Florida, the World Cup, which was just this last weekend.
Okay.
And we've sent teams there in the past, and they've done pretty well. Most of our tournaments are local, 3-on-3 and 5-on-5.
Yep.
And the tournaments are held on what they call a speedball field, where they use inflatable bunkers, because that way they can mirror the field and make it the exact same on both sides, so it's fair. And we also have night speedball, where we play every Saturday night under the lights, not during the month of October because we're doing the Haunted Trail, but any other month we play under the lights at the facility there on Wildcat Road. And there's a bunch of different games you can play when you're in the woods. You play elimination, like you said, medic, where a medic can come around and bring you back in, president, where one person has to move to the other side of the field and you got to guard them.
Okay.
Down pilot, there's fort games, there's predator and prey. We have all adult referees that do an awesome job out there keeping everybody safe. We have 3 main rules. Just keep your mask down, stay 20 feet away, and keep your barrel plug in when you're not playing the game. And we knock on wood, we don't have any accidents out there. It's all supervised, and it's a great time.
Well, I'll take your word that these games sound fun. Even though I've never heard of half of them. You said Predator and Prey and President. I'll take your word for it, because I only know a little bit about paintball, but it sounds wild though. So, but anyway, since you are the owner of the place, what's the wildest thing you've seen happen since you've started that company? Do you have a story you can share? You can tell us.
Let's see. Basically, the best thing is when we interact with some of the customers at the counter. And when we're bored during the day, we will do a little of the crank yankers with the telephone people that will call, and we have some good times with them also. Can't really go into details, but we have a lot of safety meetings around there, and just laugh, basically try to laugh as much as we can. A lot of people hang out there. I don't really even have any employees. The refs that help me out do it for field time. It's not that big of a business where you can really support having a big full-time staff. It's kind of seasonal. I do a lot of charity stuff, as far as if you have a fish fry and you need some passes to raise some money, or you have any good calls, we will just get a hold of us via the website at i70paintball.com.
Yep.
And we'll help you out as much as we can. There's a lot of people out there that need a little helping hand, and we would like to help as many as we could.
Clear things up. While we were doing the interview, we were talking political for a few minutes. I don't think Tim Hart is part of the Tea Party. He was saying that he was sharing his views against big government because I think that's how he feels that the government choices that we have now, that's our option. He disagrees with how they go about with things, but he's not quite sure if he is quite a Tea Partyist. There could be, and I've said it myself, I like to think there could be other parties that we could join out there. Maybe someday, maybe as I get older, that can happen. But that's what he was getting at. I don't think he's officially a Tea Party member, so I want to clear things up real quick. And also, if you're not a paintball expert, he made clear that you don't have to be an expert to go do this. Like they have pro leagues, they have leagues that's for more advanced people, but you can be any age, 10 and up, as he said, 10 and up. Take your grandpa. It can be for a birthday, and you can get a soft gun, you can get a single shooter, you can get one that's multiple shooter. It's based on your skill level, just like swimming. If you work your way up. So I'm sure you'd be happy to let you guys know that anyone that wants to try can try it at their own level, and as long as you don't do anything stupid, you will not get hurt. So, I believe it's now time to say goodnight to the state of Ohio. But before I say goodnight to the state of Ohio, I want to talk about pro football. Pro football has been in the news, but not just for reporting the sports scores and big highlights of the evening. A lot of weird things is happening in the NFL. First thing, they might be going on strike after the season. I understand their labor deal is going to be up after the season, however that works. I don't follow the main politics behind it, I don't know all the smart words that are associated with that. But they might go on strike, which would not be good for that league in particular, because those athletes, they have contracts that pay them big money, and the fact that they couldn't play football, that probably means that they wouldn't. I forget how it works during a strike. I think you lose half your money during a strike year if you're not playing. Either they give you half your money, or either all of your money anyway, or none of your money. It happens to something happens to your pay, but that would be a big effect on the payroll for NFL teams if there was no season next year. And the other thing, they're making some changes. I guess there's been a lot of big time hits, if you will, some helmet hits. They're making changes to players being allowed to make big hits like that. And starting this week, anyone that makes big hits, such as the helmet, they could be suspended from the NFL. So they're seriously cracking down. A lot of players are upset over this. They feel like they're taking away from the idea of football, which is to tackle the player and to cause big hits and to get the crowd going. And I do kind of agree for pro football anyway, because these people are adults, and they wanted to play football, and there is an essence of how football works. And eventually, what's going to happen, they keep taking away these rules, these petty calls, they're going to be playing touch football in a few years. And I said about a year ago, I think I said something about baseball dying in 10 years due to the economic differences and the payroll salaries. It's too far ahead. Like one team can have a $200 million payroll, and the other team have a $40 million payroll. It's the difference is too big, and that might happen in the NFL too, because they got rid of their salary cap. And the other deal is that they're just changing all the rules. There's too many rules to abide by. It's the no fun league, and I blame it on Roger Goodell. I think his job as a commissioner is not very good. For some reason, I feel like he's almost ashamed of the NFL, because he's changed more rules than any other commissioner in history. And I don't see what his purpose is. I don't see his vision. But a lot of people don't like it. I don't care for it either. It's going in a whole new direction. And the fact that they're going to strike to begin with, like they might go to strike, there's I don't know. I think he had something to do with that also. I think he's doing something that the players' union and the players, they don't care for. And that's how strikes happen. Sides, they argue. And but for most part, I don't agree with most of his commissioning rules. He's really laid down the law on the suspensions on even players nowadays. They get suspended just for going to a club, like even in the off season. They have an eye watching over them everywhere they go. It's a sense of paranoia. You gotta have some freedom. I just don't get it. I don't care for it. I don't like the direction the NFL is going. And if it keeps up at this rate, it might die off. Also, it might die off. People will turn its backs against it because you need your fans to support a product. And the fans are not too happy with all these changes. I don't know. I can't tell them what to do. I'm just a DJ guy. I can tell you my thoughts. I can tell you I don't want a strike to happen for the sake of players and their families, but it doesn't mean it will happen. Roger Goodell ain't gonna listen to me anyway. I'm just a little guy. I don't know what I can do to make people listen. I'm not Oprah. I'm not Ellen. I don't have a big TV show to let people know you need to stop. I can tell the NFL people all they want to. They shouldn't go on strike. But they'll do it anyway. No one can stop the baseball strike. No one's probably going to stop this impending football strike. All the other issues, the 18-game schedule. They might change the 18 games and lessen the preseason from 4 to 2. And that might cause more stress on the regular players because there's people, they play 3 games, they break their leg, and that's it. And people are disagreeing with the fact that there could be 18 games. That's 2 more games that regular players, have to try real hard. And it sounds like to me this 18 games is just another way to make money for the networks. It sounds like a money decision more than I just think it's a cool idea decision. And because of that, Roger Goodell and the rest of the NFL corporates, the people in the office, they come off as money marks. Then they come off as hypocrites too, because they make these rules saying they want to protect the players, and then they make them play 2 extra regular season games. And of course, there's the playoffs too. So one NFL team could be playing over 20 games in a single year. And football really is dangerous. I don't think you would know unless you actually played it, which I've never played it. But I'll take your word for it. I know better. I've played enough Madden on PlayStation, and even little video game guys get hurt. It's that dangerous. When a video game player is getting hurt, you know it's a dangerous sport. I mean, they're not even real people, the video games, and they're still getting you can tear your ACL or PCL. I just want to say that I do not like the direction pro football is going. The only good thing I can think of is that if pro football at any point it did die down, I don't see a lot of negatives except for the fact that there'd be a lot less people severely getting hurt. More people would act civilized. Because football can really do something to the brain. You go to these practices, the coaches yell at you. You got to do these drills, tackles. And you have to be very aggressive to be successful at these ball games. And that aggression carries off the field to these players. They can be successful with their aggression on the field. They try that off the field. Which is why Brent Roethlisberger got in trouble. He started to think he was above the law. And a lot of these players get suspended. They act violent outside the club. They get to these civilians. They like, ooh, I'm Mr. Football Guy. You better not talk to me. It's just violent all around. If football would ever go away, the only good thing is that football would also go away in college and in high schools and in pee-wee leagues. And less people would be hurt. Maybe people have better attitudes. We wouldn't be teaching this aggressive, violent nature to young people. There's so many things you can do in this world that's a lot safer, a lot more fulfilling. And football, I'm on the fence with football because nowadays I've grown up. The college leagues, they bother me. Well, no, not so much. Well, I don't mean the college leagues. I messed it up. I mean the high school leagues. The high school leagues bother me a little bit, and because I've grown up, and I see bones breaking off these 16-year-olds. I'm thinking, they could have done so much. So I'll end with this because I really am complexed on this whole football issue. I'll end positive. I actually want to talk about Brett Favre now. He's in trouble also or he's being ridiculed for doing something to an ex-female employee of the New York Jets when he was on that team. And I've checked into it. You know what? I don't know if he did anything. I don't think they should suspend him. Brett Favre, he didn't do anything wrong. In my eyes, he didn't do what Ben Roethlisberger did. People are human. Humans do things off the charts sometime. I think Brett Favre is innocent. I don't think he raped this girl. I don't know if this girl's claiming that he raped her or not. But he is... I hate to see his career end in such a crap way like that. Like, if he didn't do anything wrong per se. I don't think that what he's being accused of, at the least, I don't think is that big of a deal. You could do so many worse things. If it's human beings having harmless fun, so I'd leave the great Brett Favre alone. Let him play his 16 games as long as he doesn't break his foot. This is last season, and if he can play all regular season games this year, he'll maybe get to 300 straight games. He should end his career on a high note. And I don't think he did anything wrong. This is no O.J. Simpson ordeal or Ben Roethlisberger or Ray Caruth. I was trying to think that guy that murdered his girlfriend. Brett Favre is no Ray Caruth. So leave the man alone. And good luck to all parties involved over the NFL to solve this ordeal. And maybe Roger Goodell, maybe he can make the league more fun again if they ever go on strike. Because it's lame right now. You can't dance. You can't hit hard. You can't do anything. Whatever made that league cool to begin with, you can't even do anymore. So, maybe they should go on strike. Anyway, so with that, I said my thought. Drive home safely and have a good night. Good night, Ohio.
Let me see you just bounce with me, just bounce with me, just bounce.
There's a lot of radio stations out there, traditional and non-traditional. Internet radio has increased a lot over the past 6 years. And what we mean by internet radio stations, like if you don't know what that is, they are specific to the internet. You can't hear them in your car. You got you go to the computer. There's a website. One example would be Blog Talk Radio. You can host your own show from there. Also, there's WS Radio that I've heard of. And then there's Talk Zone. Just a few examples. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. And you can basically set up your own show fairly quickly. And you get paid, if you're really good, I guess you can get paid a little bit. Not as much as the big time performers. Of course, then there's also satellite radio with Sirius Radio and XM Radio. The ones that you pay for, but it's got all the big time names like Howard Stern and who else? Oprah. I think Oprah's got a show on Sirius. And Rosie O'Donnell, Martha Stewart, a lot of celebrities on there. Sirius is awesome. I'm subscribed to it. That's my opinion. I don't know if everyone else is subscribed to it. But basically, they're the big names in the entertainment world that have their own radio show. So radio isn't just radio anymore. There's a lot of competition out there. It's fairly healthy. And the key point to radio is a key show, a concept. You're striving for a certain audience, if you will. But I'm thinking some radio show ideas, they aren't so good. There's many of them out there, but I'm thinking of some that aren't very good. Maybe it'd be a bad idea to do this on the radio, like personality or concept. And I got a good list here of what should not be on the radio. This is my opinion of what should not be on the radio. Now, the first on the list, Twin Speak Radio. Now, if you're wondering what this is, you know how you have twins and they speak their certain language, like they speak in tongues, or they jibber jabber, like beep 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 beep. If you have twins, you know what I'm talking about. I think Kate from Kate Plus 8, I think all of her kids are twins, or a few of them are. I don't know if they all are. And anyway, they have that language that I've heard. I've seen it myself. That wouldn't be a good idea for radio, because I think twins would listen to it, but there ain't that many twins in America. Maybe it might be in the thousands. It'd be a very low rated show. and no one would know what the heck you were talking about. They wouldn't understand the words coming out of your mouth. Kind of like this next idea for a bad radio show, the Chris Tucker radio show. Now, Chris Tucker, if you remember him, he's the lead actor from the Rush Hour movies from the late 90s. He's a funny guy, but he's got an interesting speaking voice. You know that high shrill voice of his? Like, hey, man! He always says man in all of his movies. Man! Man! Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth, man? See how annoying that is? That'd be bad. He should stick to comedy. I don't think his radio show would be good, especially if he always goes, man. So, anyway, another rejected idea would be the American Idol Rejects radio show. People like William Hung and past performers, well, they tried to audition for American Idol. They would go see Simon Cowell and all the other judges, and they suck up the joint. They were terrible, like William Hung. And then they have their own radio show. You play songs like of their auditions, or maybe they even have their own talk show. Imagine William Hung, him talking on the radio. I did the best I could. I'm William Hung. That's all I did. I have no previous training in college radio, Daniel. So, that's that. That's American Idol Reject Radio for you. Now, there's also Santa Claus Radio. The reason why this would be a bad idea for a radio show with Santa Claus, I guess the whole idea for Santa Claus, he delivers toys to the kids, but he's got a list.
Boy, or Daniel, you were a good boy. You were a very nice boy. You have a really good college radio show. I'm gonna give you a little toy radio car to play with this Christmas. A lot of nitpicking. A lot of kids get upset over that, finding out they weren't on the list. So I think it'd be a bad idea for a radio show. But anyway, now another bad idea for a radio show would be Texas Hold'em Radio. It's fun to watch on television, but it'd be really boring to listen to on the radio. Like waiting for someone to tilt or to knock on the wood or say, I'm all in. There's really not a lot of talking, a lot of thinking. And of course, thinking is not good for radio. So Texas Hold'em would be a bad idea. And now you got Spoiled Brat Teen Radio. It's like those girls that they have rich parents, and they get everything that they want, and they're spoiled brats. They're not very good people either. And imagine them having their own radio show. Be like, "Ooh, hey girlfriend, my mom bought me this car. My mom bought me this radio show, and I got more ratings than everyone. All my homegirls, we're gonna listen to this show." Ugh, that would be a bad idea. Spoiled Brat Teen Girl Radio. That'd be so awful. I think radio wouldn't last very long. That show wouldn't last very long. There's a lot of them in the world, but they wouldn't make good radio shows. I'm trying to think what else I can do to make fun of them. Mommy, this microphone's got dust on it. They have butlers, I think. Mommy, where's my butler? Hey butler, you're fired. You got my microphone all dirty. Alright, I gotta move on. It's getting strange. Anyway, now we got Depressed Widow Radio. Imagine someone like you had a husband or even a wife that just died, and they based a radio show based on that subject. That would be so depressing. I mean, it's sad when someone loses somebody, and making a show around it would be a bad idea. I can just see it now. He was such a good husband, and he was such a good father to my children. I can't go on. Where's the next bridge? I'm in it all right now. Yeah, that's Depressed Widow Radio. Get rid of that. Bad idea. And now you got Drill Sergeant Radio. Drop and give me 10, Daniel. You ain't doing your radio show right. I can't yell that way. If you know anything about drill sergeants in the Army, if you served overseas, and you have people that you gotta take orders for, they have that voice. They don't. Hey, drop down and give me 10. Yeah. That would not be good for radio. Imagine the drill sergeant shouting the whole radio show for the whole 2 hours, just yelling. Bad idea. And then I got a few more left on this little list of mine. Farmer Radio. Farmers, if you will. I think they would make bad radio show hosts.
because all they do is farm. They milk the cows in the morning. They bale the hay. They plant corn and they kill chickens. And they base the radio show. Like I can, all right. My name is Farmer Daniel, and our subject today is killing chickens. What type of knife should you use when chopping off the head of a rooster? And then also on another subject, be like checking eggs. Like all right, here's how you check to see if the egg is good enough to eat for breakfast in the morning. You crack the egg on the side, and then you smell it, and then you get a knife and you peek through the oil areas. Yeah, it's bad. I don't think farmers be good. What else could they talk about? All they know is farming. And of course, last one on my list is the Glenn Beck radio show. I tell you, that Glenn Beck is so silly. Wait a second. Too late. Never mind. He already has one, so I can't argue with that. Anyway, so that's my list of what should not be on the radio. But most other ideas are good ideas. Maybe. Thank you for listening to tonight's show. This show's going to be so great. The debate is coming up really soon.